Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where I want to take a quick peek at where we are in our tax bracket. Okay. Yeah, so we definitely should do something here. Before we get too involved in anything else, I want to check in on this. So, this would be in Waziristan. I'm sure that's probably... Actually, this is done. Remarkable. So Peshawar is also done, and that likely means that this location is complete. Yes, that is indeed what that means. Okay, so we should mark this as complete at this point. So next up would be Balochistan. That would go to southern Balochistan, which is currently done. I'm pretty sure we definitely have claims out over here, so this is a reroll, and I'm going to do it. Next up is going to be Pakistan, so this is going to go to Peshawar. I've forgotten where Peshawar is. Is that up over here? Is that this one? No, that's East Bengal. Hang on. Here's Peshawar. So that one's done for now. Pakistan is... They have a lot of cores on a lot of places. This is a reroll. I'm going to do it. Next up, of course, is Kashmir. And I've also forgotten where Kashmir is. It's this one up over here. Okay. So this is going to go directly into East Punjab, which is this down over here, and that's absolutely great. We love it. So we're going to do exactly that. Now, we're not currently focused on building additional civilian factories, but I want to come in here, and I accidentally queued that at the top. I want to queue these at the bottom for right now. Other button. Okay, there we go. Yes, something like this. So we're going to get all of those queued up eventually. And these will be finished at a time in the future that is not now, is the idea. So that sounds good. For the time being, we're mostly interested on getting these coastal forts finished up. We're very, very close on that. And then we've got all of these land forts, which is going to take a while to build. We're not going to prioritize it quite like that. I think we'll probably move these coastal forts up right now. And then I'm actually going to move up these factories, because the factories are a lot higher priority than a lot of these here. These are very, very low priority. So what we're going to do is we're going to move up the coastal forts like this. And then the question is, how's this going? Okay. I think this is fine. So we'll work a little bit on these factories, but mostly we're going to be working on coastal forts for right now. Then we'll work on these factories, and then we'll work on all this. So that sounds good for the moment. Now, we have no national focus right now. That's deliberate. We're trying to build up our political power, and we're also working on building up our stability. So the next goal here, I think, should be working towards flame tanks. Most likely. So there's Logistics Company 1 finishing. We definitely want to continue working on Logistics Company. Do we want a helicopter transport company? Well, we can't do it right now. We need a special project for that. Eventually, probably not. But maybe. We want to keep things relatively basic so that we can mass produce it, ideally. That would be the goal here. So for now, this is relatively fine. So what I'm thinking for this right here is we have 3 armies of infantry, which I think is fine, and then like 2 armies of armor would probably be what we'd be going for. So that gets us the Army Department in our intelligence agency. Sounds good. We're going to grab the Naval Department next. So we're trying to get a decent amount of political influence here. Okay. So out over here, this is going to be a little bit different than this out over here, and this up here, in fact. So that's going to be, you know, kind of interesting, for sure. But we're easily holding this line. That's not a particularly challenging thing for us to do at this moment. We do absolutely need to get ourselves a lot more army experience. We know that we need like 110 to get the... somewhere around there, to get the division template that we want. So that's definitely something that's going to have to be brought up, although it's going up reasonably quickly since we are experiencing these attacks over here. And our manpower is in a decent state as well. Agrarian Society is at 42. So I think we've had no ticks, perhaps? because I think we did 2 focuses that dropped it. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Regardless, this is absolutely fine for now. We did finish up this division, and that division can go in here. Perfect. So we're currently at approximately 10% of the army experience that we need. I think our next goal is to get a land warfare facility scientist, because we want to grab flame tanks, for sure. 100% that's what we want to grab here. So let's recruit a scientist, and do these have... Okay, so this is all the land warfare levels. Sure. None of this really matters, although these are only 50 political power cost. I thought they were 100. Okay, so we're going to start an active project here. That's going to be flamethrower tank. Absolutely. So we'll get started on that. Wait a second. That costed an additional 20? Interesting. Okay, so this would be... This requires a scientist to start. That costed more political power than I expected, like 27 more. Interesting. It's okay, but it's definitely a little awkward. So yeah, right now we're just trying to grind up that sweet, sweet army experience, which is happening, for sure, as they continue to try to probe our borders here. So checking in over here, I don't think there's any problem in any of these locations. They're going to have a really, really hard time pushing it. And we'll probably not have that hard of a time pushing out, to be honest. So that seems good. We just finished up this, although this isn't one of our divisions. This is a different division. This is one of the vassal states. So that's absolutely great. So how long do we have on our stability enhancement right now? So if we check in here, we've got another 100 days on this. Okay, that's absolutely fine. I'm not concerned about that right now. So that looks good. We have a lot of time to get this built up. And we're trying to get our stability up, for sure. We're working on it. It is improving, slowly. So that's good. We're now at 12 army experience. So that's great. We need a decent amount of army experience, though. Ah, this guy finished up as well. So as you can see, when those finish up, that's when our manpower drops. Replenishing losses taken on the front is honestly very minimal. We aren't taking very many losses at all. This is very, very manpower efficient for us, and that seems great for right now. So we have no template for the modern tank chassis. Yeah, I'm aware of that. We are simply stockpiling modern tanks for right now. And we've got 78 of them at this point. We're now making almost 2 per day. I want to get this up to making, like, I don't know, like 40 per day, ideally. We're not going to get that high with this number of factories, obviously. We're going to get a little over double this. This is going to be like 5 per day-ish, somewhere around there. Somewhere between like 4 and 5, probably. So that seems reasonable. I'm not terribly concerned about that. That's still a good amount of tank production. And we can toss more military factories into this if we happen to get more. That will, of course, come at a cost of steel. And that's understood that that will be at a bit of a premium. But for right now, it's fine. So they've been attacking over here pretty regularly, and they're making absolutely zero progress whatsoever. It's completely bogged down. We're fighting this like it's World War I, except we're not attacking them. We're just defending. Which is kind of hilarious. Like, this has got to be really, really inefficient for them. But we're building up a lot of army experience doing this. Each one of these attacks is worth probably somewhere between around a quarter to half a point of army experience. So that's great for us. That's really, really, really good. Now, I'm not terribly concerned about actually getting going on production of aircraft right now. Honestly, I don't think we'll need it. I really, really don't. So for the moment, this is fine. We're up to 30% stability, so that's something. Jim Corbett is improving our stability. And improved worker conditions is as well. War support is dropping our stability somewhat, so that's understood. But to be honest, this really isn't so bad. Yeah, this really isn't. So that's not terribly concerning. I want to check in on the status of our special project here. So we can see that we are now 0% done. Approximate time to research 195 days. Requires 4 to 7 prototype iterations, and 0 are done right now. Interesting. Well, that finished advanced equipment conversion, so we are going to come on in here, and what else do we want to grab? There's honestly not a lot. We can continue to work on some of this air stuff, but there's not all that much that we can do here either. I guess we could do engines 4. Like I said, for the moment, I'm not terribly concerned about getting aircraft online. We do have a little bit of air experience, so there is that. We're now up to about 20 army experience, so each one of these is roughly 1% of what we need, so that's neat. Lend-Lease from Pakistan. Okay, sure, whatever. And we've got this unassigned division. This is a vassal division. We'll put that into our Coast Guard. So that sounds good. Eventually, we'll be looting our Coast Guard for these non-vassal divisions. There are 45 of them here. And we'll replace those with vassal divisions. But for now, this is a fine place to put them. So that looks okay. And we could actually get some traits going here. This is not very relevant, but I guess we'll take Fortress Buster. That's really not much of a thing. That's costing us command power as well, which is, you know, mildly awkward, but sure. So what do we got over here? This guy would also, he could be either Charismatic or Fortress Buster. Honestly, we're going to take Charismatic. There we go. That'll be fine for now. I don't plan on those guys actually being a thing, right? Now we could modify our government. We could add a theorist here. I don't care about that right now. We could add an industrial concern, reducing our consumer goods factories factor. Now, what's our current consumer goods factories factor? 10%. So we're at the minimum right now. So I don't really think there's that much point in this, other than the 5% civilian factory construction speed, which would be neat. I'm much more concerned in going into, like, extensive conscription. Also, this is definitely Ride of the Valkyries. I like it. So that's great, but this is, of course, going to end up costing 603 political power right now. Agrarian Society is boosting that by 126%. So we're going to need to drop that down, for sure. Now, do we want any other special projects here? So this would be jet engines, helicopters, radar. We should probably be starting radar here, so we could recruit a scientist here. And let's see here. This would be... So this is the avionics, aerodynamics and avionics skill. Yeah. So Elizabeth Milne here would be who we'd want. This one would be 75 political power. That was more than 75. Okay, that's noted. So that's fine. We're going to put in some radar research here. This is actually using resources, which is interesting. It's reduced because of the inexperience and resource utilization. So that's fine. I'm not terribly concerned about making this super quick, but getting radar online would definitely be good for us. Okay, so we've got this division, which is a real division, and that's going to go, for now, into the Coast Guard. Large cannons finishing up. Okay, sure. And we're going to have to start just kind of researching random things eventually. That's going to be a thing. Yeah. Eventually, that is definitely going to be a thing. I suppose we could start doing experimental rockets, or we could start going down, like, improved radio. This is not a terrible thing to do. Improving our reinforce rate and coordination would be fine. So we'll get to work on that. Excellent. So we find ourselves at 22 army experience right now. We need to continue to work that up, and the cap is at 500. That's understood. So we have this division here. That goes into the Coast Guard. Sounds great. The Japanese have a lot of troops here. They're taking heavy attrition here. Hang on. How much manpower do they have right now? They have somewhere between 1 and 2 million available, apparently. Okay, so that's noted. Well, they're definitely wasting it here. They're taking very heavy attrition, so we are far more efficient on the manpower front. And we're barely tapping into our manpower. I want to be clear about that. We've got a decent amount of manpower in this pool, and our growth is about 3K per month, which is not awful. But keep in mind, we're on volunteer only. We'll move this down eventually, and that's going to be a huge increase to our manpower. So that sounds great. We're just working on boosting up our political power because right now, here in 42 days, our improved worker conditions are going to time out. I want to continue to boost up our stability for sure. That's going to be a very, very significant thing that we need to do. So I want to check in on our construction. Ah, look at this. Our coastal forts are actually very, very close to being finished, and we are primarily working on civilian factories at this point. So, I'm going to start moving up some of these land forts, like this. Just because we're going to have tax rates to think about, some of these factories are probably not necessarily worth building because of tax rates. So that's fine. We're just going to make our way up over here, just interspersing these, and we'll find homes for these factories eventually, I'm sure. But for now, this will absolutely be fine. Okay, now that we're down here, this will go a lot faster. At least this isn't like Victoria, and we can drag and drop these. I really wish they'd do that in Victoria 3, making it so that your constructions can be dragged and dropped like this. That would be so much more efficient, but alas. That doesn't have that functionality at this time. You'd think it would, but it does not. So we're currently at about 26 army experience, and the question is, how much do we need to get started on making these armored divisions? Well, I really think it's going to be more than 26. So if we go into here, into the division designer, and we create a new template, I don't want to duplicate this, I want to create an empty template. We know we're going to need a bunch of infantry in these, because we need to get to combat width of 30. And we know that we're going to need to put some armor in here. That alone is 40. We can expand this down. So we're currently at 27. This costs 25. Okay, I think we'll wait until we're around 40. That shouldn't be too much longer. That should be reasonably good. So what do we got here? This is a regular division. That goes in here. And eventually that'll get swapped. Okay, so that is fine for now. So we're attacking, or rather being attacked over here. They're just taking crazy attrition over here, though. Like, insane levels of attrition. So I'm thinking right now, an armored thrust from here to here. Cutting all of this off so that they have to supply this by sea. Digging in on the north side, and then using the armor to push through on the south side and get all of this taken over. From there, we would have just this line, and we can think about pushing northward up to about here or so. So think about a diagonal line here, right? So a diagonal line like this, joining up these fronts. From there, that's a very easy situation here. We can push up to about here. Also, the U.S. is landing on, I think this is the U.S., right? Is landing on Japan? Yeah, that's the Communist States of America landing on Japan's home islands there. Okay, so that's going to cause Japan some serious problems. That's good. We like that. So Logistics Company 2 has finished up. We're going to want to continue to work on the Logistics Company. We're going to grab Logistics Company 3. That looks good. And what else are we interested in researching here? Well, Probably something in air if it's available. It kind of isn't. Engineering, we could work on things like this. So basic fire control system. This is for ships. It doesn't really matter for us, but it's fine. Okay, so we're up to 31 army experience at this time. Our army is getting very experienced, and that is, of course, a great thing. So we're very happy about this, and I want to check in on our construction. Yeah, this is looking absolutely great. No issue here right now. So if we look at our decisions at this moment, we're only 14 days left on improved worker conditions. If we come up here and look at our tax brackets, we're currently in the higher tax rate. This is actually not a problem to be in 17 to 28 factories. More than 37 factories is absolutely going to be a problem. So that's noted. So we could check in on Balochistan. This would be in South Balochistan. I believe that that is once again a reroll. Yeah, that's a reroll. I'm going to do it. Here in Pakistan, this is going to go into North Balochistan. That should not be a reroll. That should be an actual benefit to us. Next up will be Kashmir. That'll be going into Northern Kashmir, which I think, again, is a benefit. Do it. So that'll be good. That brings us down to 22 civilian factories. It doesn't matter if we're in the second tax bracket because we are at the minimum right now. The third tax bracket might be a problem. We'd have to experience it to find out. The fourth tax bracket almost certainly would be a problem. Actually, hang on. We could do some math here, couldn't we? I believe we could. So if we go into our construction here and we look at our current factor here, we can see that we are currently at a factor of 10. So if we pull open a calculator, capital investment model puts us at 15 as our base, minus 25 from opium trade, 5% for night shifts, minus 10 from Aga Khan III, which puts us at a net of minus 15. Improved worker conditions, that's temporary, and I'm not going to count that. And then taxes, currently, puts us at minus 36. Those taxes, though, those are going to be what's going to change. And that means that we're at minus 15 overall. So being in the second tax bracket, not a problem. Being in the third tax bracket, not a problem. Being in the fourth tax bracket is going to dedicate about 25-ish%. Okay. So that's about 15% more than we have right now, which is the bare minimum. And that's understood. And those are only taxable civilian factories. So we could convert some over to military factories. It's an option. I don't know that it's a great option, but it's definitely something that we could think about. So checking in here, we have now achieved 32% completion on our flamethrower tanks. We're now 2 prototypes complete. Excellent. So that's looking good. And our radar, that's going to be a while. That's absolutely fine. We're going to build radar in some of these air defense zones. And that should help our static air defense considerably, I believe. Let's double check that. Giving our planes a better chance to engage the enemy air forces. Does that not help static air defense? That would be strange to me. I would think that that would at least provide some benefit to static air defense. So, at this point, this guy is now going to be a little bit overbooked. That's understood. We'll do something about that soon enough. So we're currently at 134k. We're definitely seeing our manpower slowly drift down. I want to check our status of agrarian society. So this is still at 42. It should drop down to 39 eventually. So we're at 116 political power. I want to check in on the status of our... Where are we? Okay. So it looks like we don't currently have improved worker conditions available. We must be on cooldown on that. that's fine. We can continue to build up political power for right now. We're going to want to definitely put that in eventually. Yeah, for now, I think this is okay. We'll just continue to build up political power. We have multiple things we can spend that on, and that seems good. So we're at 36 army experience. I think next episode, we are going to get ourselves our tank divisions, our base level tank divisions. They're going to need to be expanded dramatically as we get military experience, but that's fine. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings. I'm definitely noticing what's going on over here. That's interesting. And a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time. I'm just kind of moving up the forts in between all of the civilian factories again. I'm kind of distracted by that right now. Okay, now we should end the episode.